Hello, my name's Justin Osmond and I'm the Chief Executive of the Shipwrecked Mariners Society. I'm joined today by Malcolm Williams, a former Chief Exec, because as we approach the centenary of the armistice, we'd both like to talk to you about why Britain wasn't starved into surrender during World War I. The fact that this didn't happen during the Great War was thanks to the spirited determination and indomitable courage of the men of the mercantile marine and the fishing fleets, a story that is seldom told. To fight and survive for 4 years, the country needed to import raw materials such as oars, cotton, jute, oil and rubber, as well as export both manufactured goods and coal in order to fund the war effort. In addition, it also needed to bring in military hardware, munitions, horses, timber for trenches and men to fight. And then there was the food. In 1914, Great Britain relied heavily on imported foodstuffs. 80% of our wheat, 64% of our butter, 40% of our meat and virtually all of our raw sugar came by sea. It was estimated that 64% of our daily calorie intake came by ship.
During 1915, shipping was being lost at an average rate of 38 vessels or 73,000 tonnes per month to surface raiders, mines and submarines. In May 1915, the actual losses amounted to 51 ships, totaling 89,000 tonnes. But it was the decision by the Germans on the 1st of February 1917 to resume unrestricted submarine warfare, which had been suspended in 1915 due to the international outrage caused by the sinking of the Lusitania, that created a true crisis. The losses were staggering. 135 British merchant ships amounting to 317,000 tonnes were sunk in February, with the loss of 425 lives. The following month, 170 ships totaling 357,000 tonnes were lost, at the cost of 702 lives. One of those vessels was the liner Falaba, commanded by Captain Frederick Davis. With a crew of 94, she was bound for West Africa, with 147 passengers and general cargo on board. Unable to outrun U-28, the captain stopped and abandoned ship as instructed by the submarine. However, the submarine then fired a torpedo without warning, killing 57 passengers and 47 crew. The loss rate took another massive leap in April, with 210 ships totaling over 551,000 tonnes lost, along with 1,139 lives. One of those ships was the Torrington, a 5,500-ton steamer under the command of Captain Anthony Starkey, which was homeward bound to Barry. She was torpedoed 150 miles off the Scilly Isles and sank while still under fire from U-55. The chief officer's full lifeboat was attacked and destroyed, while the rest of the crew were taken on board, and with the exception of Captain Starkey, were drowned when the submarine submerged. This was a brutal war. Estimates of a vessel's chances of surviving a round trip between the United Kingdom and a destination beyond Gibraltar were at this time about 1 in 4.
In the spring of 1917, the House of Commons was informed that there was only 4 to 6 weeks' supply of food in the country. Clearly, the rate of shipping losses could not be sustained, and at last protection policy was changed and convoying was introduced. On the 24th of May 1917, the first transatlantic convoy sailed from Hampton Roads, Virginia. Thereafter, the loss figures showed a steady decline.
Even so, the voluntary restraint on food consumption and the encouragement of new diets wasn't enough to overcome shortages, and rationing was introduced in January 1918. Michael Miller, an historian of the First World War, has observed that our classic portrait of the First World War is one of stalemate and mass casualties on the Western Front. Yet the war was won as much on sea as on land, through the Allied nations' ability to mobilise the world's resources, and just as importantly, through their ability to ship those resources across thousands of sea miles to points of production and consumption in their home countries. And it was at the cost of the lives of over 17,000 merchant seamen and fishermen, eloquent testimony to the endurance and sacrifice of the men of the mercantile marine and the fishing fleets in World War I, and why the Red Ensign has flown from the cenotaph since 1919, lest we forget.
Founded in 1839, during World War I, our society assisted some 51,000 sailors during the course of the war. And after 179 years, we continue to support merchant mariners and fishermen who face financial difficulties. If you'd like to read more about the Merchant Navy in World War I, then please visit our website shipwreckmariners.org.uk. Thank you for listening.